Hello students, welcome back to OrganiChemVerse. In the last lecture, we have seen how to classify the organic molecules into acyclic and cyclic molecules. In this video, we will learn one more method to classify the organic molecules, that is from the functional groups. So, what are functional groups and homologous series? Let's deep dive in this video. Students, what are functional groups? Functional groups can be an atom or a group of atoms present in a molecule which largely determines the physical and chemical properties of the molecules. Let's understand this by taking an example. Let's take a methane molecule. Methane is an alkane with the molecular formula CH4. We will replace one hydrogen by a halogen. Halogen can be fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. So here I'm going to take chlorine. Now, the moment I replace hydrogen by another atom, heteroatom, then the properties of this molecule will be completely changed. For example, the reactivity of methane is less as compared to a chloromethane molecule. Why is it so? Because of the presence of chlorine. Because the hydrogen is replaced by chlorine, the property of this new molecule is entirely different. It could be the physical or chemical property. Physical property means boiling point, melting point, density, etc. Chemical property means whether this molecule will react with an acid, base, etc. So now what do you call here? This is called as a functional group. And the functional group here is a halogen. Halogen is usually represented by letter X. X could be fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine. Let's see some other functional groups. I'll take the same methane. I will replace a hydrogen by here by OH. So OH is the functional group. So it's a group of atoms, that is oxygen and hydrogen, and we call this molecule as alcohol. Since there is one carbon, we call this as methanol. So the OH is the functional group for the given molecule. Let's take one more functional group. Say, I will replace this OH by a group of atoms like CHO, and we call this molecule as an aldehyde. Aldehyde, the overall molecule, we can call it as an aldehyde. To be specific, we can call this as ethanol. So the alcohol, aldehyde, these are the functional groups for the given molecules. Now, do we have only these functional groups? No, there are many functional groups. For example, we have ketones with the CO as the functional group. We have carboxylic acid. Carboxylic acid is with the COOH, right? We have ethers, esters, amines, amides, etc. That means there are many functional groups in the organic molecules. We are going to name these molecules in our coming lectures. Now, let's understand what are homologous series. Homologous series refers to a set of molecules which will have the same functional group. They will have similar chemical and physical properties. Let's take one example and understand this. Say I'll take the same molecule, that is chloromethane, right? To this, what I'll do is I'll introduce a CH2 group like this, right? So we call this as chloroethane. Let's introduce one more CH2 group. CH2 group is also called as methylene group. So we are keep on introducing a CH2 group. And what do you call these molecules as? they are called homologous series. So what are the conditions to be homologous series? That they have to have the same functional group. So what is the functional group here? Chlorine is the functional group. And they all differ by what group? A CH2 group corresponding to 14 atomic mass unit. And all these molecules are called homologous series, and a molecule with the higher mass is called as higher homologue. So chloroethane is a higher homologue of chloromethane. Chloropropane is a higher homologue of chloroethane. You can even call it lower homologue. That means what? Say chloroethane is a lower homologue of the chloropropane. So that means differ by the CH2 group. If it is more, higher homologue. If it is less, then we call it as a lower homologue. Now, what are the properties? As I was explaining earlier, they will have similar chemical properties. That means what? Say if this reacts with the base, this overall molecule, if it reacts with the base, this will also react with the base. Same with this molecule also. Right? So they will have similar chemical properties. What about the physical properties? If you compare with the other molecules like alcohols, aldehydes, carboxylic acid, they will have a different properties like boiling point, melting point, etc. But usually the higher homologue will have a little different property. For example, this will have more boiling point as compared to this. This will have more boiling point as compared to this. That means there is always a gradation, right? But they won't behave entirely a different molecule, unlike the alcohols or aldehydes or carboxylic acid. So, to sum up, functional groups are the atoms or group of atoms which will determine the properties of that particular molecule. That means what? We can easily say that molecules with the OH or alcohols are usually having higher boiling point as compared to alkanes. So why is it so? It's something related to the functional group. That's why. Okay. Then what are homologous series? These are the molecules with the same functional group, and they usually differ by a CH2 unit. They usually have a similar physical and chemical properties. Now that you are familiar with these terminologies, in the next video, I'm going to teach you how to name different molecules by taking each and every functional groups. We can start with alkanes and then we can do alkenes, alkynes, alcohol, and it goes on. Thank you for watching this video. Until next time.